Hi everyone, this is Menz here, playing the Tier 8 Russian heavy tank, the IS-3. Now starting out with its gun, you do have a few options here. However, once you unlock the 122mm BL9, you're not going to want to go to anything else. That's because very good damage per shot, 390 damage per round. Accuracy and aiming time is a little bit of a concern, but this tank, you don't really notice it too much because unlike some Tier 8 premium heavy tanks that only have around 175mm of penetration, the BL9 has 225mm for its AP round, so you're able to pretty much deal with anything you come across. And its APCR round bumps it up to 265mm, which is comparable to, say, a Tier 10 heavy tank without premium rounds. So really, this tank is good on penetration, damage per round, and its rate of fire is not that bad either, considering the amount of damage it can do. So you really can pump out a lot of damage in this thing. Now, getting to the BL9 is a little bit of a problem because, as you see starting out, it does cost 44,000 research cost, or research points essentially, experience. Now, you do start out with a decent 122mm, but it lacks accuracy, aiming time, penetration, but you do still have that damage per round. But you're going to want to push up and get that as fast as possible along with the turret and the tracks. Okay, so let's get back to the armor now. Now, looking at the armor of the IS-3, it's not like most other heavy tanks. It has a wedge shape, which means its armor is best pointing directly at the enemy, and as you angle, your frontal plate actually becomes weaker. Now, looking at the upper glacis, right here, the upper part, it's not exactly strong. For effective armor, it's right around 192mm of effective armor, so most things are actually going to be able to penetrate here. This is your weakest part of your frontal armor. Your lower glacis is very small, so if people shoot that, good for you because it's actually stronger than that point. That's right around 251mm of effective armor. Now, right here, these are false plates. They're spaced armor. There's nothing behind them. So if people shoot that, you're in good shape unless if you're angled. Now, moving up closer to your turret, these sections here are stronger than your upper glacis here. They're right around 223mm on the cheeks, and towards the middle, it gets to 230mm of effective armor. So keep in mind, effective armor comes into play before normalization. So heat rounds, the effective armor numbers are valid. However, against AP and APCR, they'll actually be a little bit lower as far as your real armor value, and they'll be able to penetrate you with a lot less penetration. Now, as far as turret armor goes, IS-3, very good turret armor. The main weak spots that you're going to find here actually only come on this side of the turret and just underneath. They are flat, so while it is still strong, your turret armor is very thick. These flat sections can be penetrated by tanks with over 250mm of penetration, but at that point they're just going to shoot at your glacis, so it doesn't really matter. Now, on your mantlet, right around the gun, especially on this side, once again, because as you see the turret is not symmetrical, right around the gun where you see how it kind of ends and levels out, that's also a weak spot. It's right around 194mm to 221mm of effective armor, and really, people can get through that if they know that and you're face hugging them and they're unable to point down, because on top of the turret, the hatches aren't exactly very strong. People can shoot through your turret roof if they're above you, but it is angled pretty well. Just going over the turret roof here, as you can kind of see right around this area right here, it starts there and it moves all the way back. It does overlap slightly, as you see this little thing. Doesn't really count as anything. Overlaps slightly here, and this area is only 20 millimeters thick. So if you have a gun that can overmatch it, you can easily go through it even though it's highly angled. Now right above the gun is stronger though, you don't want to actually shoot there. But as far as the little hatches go, they're so small and hard to hit that most people don't even bother. But they are weak spots if you can get a decent flat shot. Just make sure you don't hit these optical devices because they don't really count as any HP damage. Now as far as mobility goes, very good engine to its weight, so it will move around fast. Top speed does limit it a little bit, since if it was higher it would get up to a higher top speed. Traverse speed doesn't turn excellent, but it's high enough for a heavy tank not to be a negative. Now, for equipment, I use vertical stabilizer to help out with the accuracy, gun rammer for the reload time, and I use coated optics because this tank has fucking terrible view range, which definitely the optics helps with that. However, if you don't care about view range for whatever reason, you can still go with ventilation or gun laying drive, but I like to go with the optics just to cover up so that's not a huge negative. You're still going to be spotted before other tanks, you can see them. However, it's not going to be situations where you can't see any tank destroyer or light tank moving in front of you and that's nailing you. At least this way, if they're firing, you're going to be able to see them. Alright, so ammunition is a little bit low, but I carry 15 AP, 10 APCR, and 3 HE. You're not going to need to go into your ammo too much because you do a lot of damage per shot, unless if you're in a tier 10 match and it's a long drawn out match. But as far as that goes, usually you don't run out of AP, so that's why I carry 10 APCR, just in case if I'm against a ton of tier 10 tanks. Now as you see here, I don't have brothers in arms on this crew. This is a newer crew that I threw in here, kind of leftovers that I had. So let's hop into a battle here. Now gun depression, not very good, even though your turret is situated to the front. With the 122mm Bale 9, you don't have great gun depression. It's not terrible, but it's not going to be good enough to say fight on hills very effectively. It's just something to keep in mind, especially because when you're going over a hill, your lower glacis becomes a weak spot because it's not very angled. So being the top tank, I need to keep in mind that my armor is not good on my upper glacis, so I kind of had to hide that, but at least as a tier 8 I can play a little bit more aggressively, especially without Artie, and hopefully I don't come across that T-34, because that thing can pretty much negate in my entire frontal armor except for my turret. So accuracy on the move with a vertical stabilizer isn't terrible. Now as you get fast, it is well below average, but overall it's not as bad as you would think for a tank like the IS-3 with its gun and it's a heavy tank and its accuracy values. But with a vertical stabilizer, it does make it possible to get some quick shots in once you hit the brake and aim in. Unlike some tanks where if you're going along at top speed and you need to take a shot, you have no chance unless if you stop, wait like 2 or 3 seconds and then take a shot. So really the IS-3 is more situated towards doing damage than it is actually blocking damage. Which I'm not going to go left because there's that T-34 there, but also I'd rather fight on this side. Okay. Yeah, I tracked him, but I just missed him. I expected him to keep moving up. Okay, I don't want this T-34 getting free reign here. So he's probably, yep, he just fired. So although there's an E2 here, I'm hopefully going to pull out, take him semi out of the fight. Shit, wrong thing, no. That was stupid. I hate I freaking put my equipment wrong in here. I usually have my repair kit on 4, but I forgot that last time I played this thing, I set it up wrong, and I did the same exact thing. I rounded a corner to kind of get some damage in, and I was sitting there hitting 4-5, 4-5. What the fuck? Now, some people set their equipment up as far as consumables differently. However, I just like setting mine up that way. It's how I start the game, so it's kind of beat into my head that my repair kit's always on 4. Okay, so they're going to flank me and most likely kill me here. However, I can try to get a little bit of damage off. If I'm lucky, I'm going to get away. But usually I'm not that lucky. Luckily, the IS-3 isn't a slowpoke when it comes to reversing. Now, I can't damage him like that, but if one of those guys tries to push over, I might be able to get them. Just kind of waning and seeing here. I hate to just leave that VK up there by himself, though. Now, since there is no arty, I can play a little bit further out here. Although with this IS-3 coming around, I'm going to need to back up and hide a little bit. Okay, so let's see how this goes. I know I can go through his turret, as long as if I don't take a very bad shot. Hopefully our guys back here are smart enough not to sit right in front of these guys. They have bigger guns than them. But I just don't want to move out and have them push on me without doing any damage. Kind of hoping that they push up. Which this IS-6 is doing right here. So he's probably going to kill me, but at least I'm going to get a decent side shot in on him. And I might reload in time to be able to get him out. But we'll see. He's probably going to reload just before me. But fortunately for me, he doesn't have a lot of penetration. But he's definitely going to get me this time. Come on, reload, reload, reload. Fuck. I hit his stronger armor. But I might have damaged his ammo rack because he didn't fire before me. I might be able to get this T-34. There we go. This IS-3 knew I shot, so he might get me, or not. But this IS definitely will. I'll at least make him pay for it. Somehow these guys are freaking deflecting off my armor, but I knew that IS-3 would have been able to kill me. So unfortunately, I freaking mixed my consumables up. Had I not, I would have had a lot more HP and I would have been able to play more aggressively. But all in all, while your armor is weak, most people don't know that your upper glacis, right above your lower plate, is the weakest part of your frontal armor. So they'll try to hit you in different spots and they won't penetrate, which is nice. But against better players, they do know that they can just kind of laugh at your armor and damage you if they want to. Now, matches like this is nice when you get a bunch of those shots where you're just able to somehow survive against all odds. Now this Panther, no idea how he gets missed those shots, but he's not really paying attention. Oh, his name is Can't Play. How fucking ironic. He deserves that. And unfortunately our KB5's just kinda lollygagging. But at the same time, definitely kind of my fault that we are in this position. I thought, oh, I'll just hop out, hit the T-34. If I get tracked, I'll repair and run away. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Pretty sure he's just getting spammed by... he's getting hit by the FV 304. I don't know why he's just sitting there and letting it happen. Granted, yes, he's tracked right now, but he's been there for probably 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, so that definitely was gonna work, KV5. So overall, not a great match, but I still did 1,979 damage. Granted, my start, I freaking messed everything up, but I didn't go over the side armor. Now, the side armor of the IS-3, you can get a few bounces if you're lucky. Now, as you see here, your tracks, if people hit them, they're not going to do any damage down here, of course, because your hull only goes down this far. From here to here is your main weak spot, because right up here, this is actually spaced armor, and it starts here as well. This whole strip here, how it's angled out, it actually angles the opposite way in towards your hull, and it's pretty good spaced armor, especially against heat rounds, and it makes the IS-3's side armor pretty good and deceptive. But if people hit below that space armor, they're pretty much going to cut through it. So at the same time, don't always rely on your spaced armor on the side, or any side armor for that matter. Basically, it's just there. That gives you a few more lucky bounces that you wouldn't otherwise expect in a tank. Alright, so for this side, I'm gonna head down this way. Usually most of the fighting happens on this side, so that's why I'm going down there. I don't necessarily want to go on this side because they do have a pretty good arty on the other team, and IS-3 doesn't play very well on uneven terrain. Now, if you can find little hills to hold down behind, it does cover up your weaker part of your frontal armor, so that is a plus if you can find that, or small patches of rubble. Hopefully for this match though, I remember that my repair kit is in the 5 slot, not the 4 slot. I've actually tried to switch my consumables around before, but like I said, it's just kinda smashed into my head, because that's how I first set them up. Okay, that Bulldog and E25 are pushing pretty damn hard, which I'm more likely not just gonna go over there to help out, because I don't want to lose the middle and for us to be kind of split in half. There's E75. I can penetrate him if, yeah, he doesn't go behind that little bus there. Now I'm a little bit limited unless if that bus gets taken out or he moves that way. Ooh, never mind. They're really hitting him hard there. Now let's kind of wait and see. Okay, so they took him out. The middle's pretty empty. There's still that WZ, so I'm just gonna push up here, hopefully get a side shot on him. Okay, never mind, he got taken out too. Not a bad thing. I am glad that I did not need to take both of those shots. So I'm going to play a little bit more aggressive now. I know that their tier 9's on the other side. The Yaga Tiger down here is a little damaged, so let's just get in here and do some things. Never mind, the Yaga Tiger got knocked out. As long as if nobody's behind me, I'll be good here. I'm just gonna wait to see if he picks me up. No, he didn't. And now he is. I was planning on keep moving, depending on if he pointed his gun at me. But I'm just gonna hopefully outpace his turret here. But the IS-3 is mobile enough to where you can circle things decently. Not great, but well enough to where you can actually circle some heavier tank. Very low chance I actually hit him, but crap. And of course I forgot about my freaking consumable again. But that went right through my upper laces, which as you see does kill the driver, because your driver viewport's right above that, and it's something that does happen pretty often. Hello, tank. Let's just fall back here a little bit. Should be able to fire before he is capable of hitting me. And of course I just hit his trap. Okay. Let's just get him here. I know I can go through his lower glacis with this gun, so I wasn't even bothering to aim elsewhere. Overall, pretty quick and easy match. My team did very well here. But as you see, on a map where a lot of the terrain is considered good terrain and it's flat, you are pretty mobile. The only time you're not very mobile is if you're in a swamp or climbing up a lot of hills. Now you still can move around pretty good for a heavy tank, but you're not going to be as mobile as that there that you saw. Now overall, 1,344 damage, spotted for a little bit. Nothing too exciting here. Just hop into another battle. But playing IS-3, it's really just balancing. Yes, you have a lot of firepower and decent mobility, but it's just balancing that armor, because you're not able to use your armor as much as you would for a heavy tank, even if you're at the top tier, aside from your turret armor. So it's really just figuring out ways to not be shot. So it is pretty interesting to play, and since you have a ton of firepower, some matches, if your armor's doing well, say you are against a lot of tier 7s and 6s, you're going to be able to frickin' just roll over and destroy people with your good gun. But in most cases, since the armor is poor, you have to kind of keep that in mind, because you have to play a little bit more safely against tier 8s, 9s, and 10s than some other tier 8 heavy tanks that have overall better armor. So I'm going to hope that these guys continue to push pretty aggressively. I want to get myself down into F2, even though I'm tier 8. Okay, I'm just going to wiggle here to bleed a little bit of speed so I didn't have to stop myself and stop my momentum. Now, if these guys keep coming, great. If they don't, I am screwed. Oh shit. Yeah. Unfortunately, that Foch is there. I probably should have peeked a little less, but seeing these guys, they don't even... I'm not even staying here. But seeing those guys, they're not even attempting to inch up to the corner as much as they probably should have. So I'm not staying there with them. I want to play this aggressive, so I'm going to go with the E100 here. That guy's a little mad. Okay, come on. You can do it. shoot that out for him. Thought that's what he wanted. Okay. So M103 might get a hit on me. Fortunately, this Tiger 2 as well. But this is where I wanted to push up to. Yeah, that guy is definitely a little angry. Just gonna work my way over here so I can hopefully peek out and get a shot in on one of these guys without taking any damage. And of course I bounced. And switch over to HE round. Never mind, there's this low here. He might push on me. But there's also this E5. I should be able to hit. Yep, just tracked him. Didn't do any damage, but at least I tracked him. It would be nice if they could... Shit, he sees me. Be nice if they could point their guns this way and do some damage to them. The guys behind me. This is Tiger 2. Get a little shot in on him. And let's back up. This is AT-15 that's starting to push up. Just gotta keep my eye on him. He's able to spot me. It's T-110E5. I'm probably not even gonna hit him. Although he is kind of showing himself here now. Gonna help that T-95 so he doesn't get flanked. I'm just on the edge of whether I can hit this AT-15 or not. So let's see if I can't get a hit in on him here. Here we go. Let's move back a little bit. And I should be able to round here now and get a shot off on this Tiger 2. Then also get another tank, which hopefully they realize this and head back to base. M103, never mind, he's taken out. There's a bat chat back here, guys. Let's just stay together. This object 907. Just Batch has a lot of HP, but I might be able to one-shot this 907 here, if I'm lucky. There we go. Shit, our E100 is taking a lot of damage. Hello, Mr. Batchat, which, don't know how you're not seen there. Betting on him not being reloaded. Don't know where the fuck he went. There he is. Fuck, I missed him. No. Aw. But at the same time, I had forgot to look at my minimap. I didn't realize the IS-8 was not coming with me. But now this guy's just sitting here letting him reload. Hopefully this T-95 can get him. I don't know why he's... But at the same time, these guys just should stick together.
One of our tracks is damaged. Track fixed. Let's roll.
But yeah, I was hoping that we would be able to kind of swarm with that chat and take him out in time. But that worked. Thank you a lot, Bat Chat, for freaking
Can't see anything.
running right into him. But this E5, hopefully...
We've cleared the viewports. Keep your eyes
Nice,
open.
this guy's starting to run away. But in the end, we're still ahead, so hopefully these guys can get him. Now, I was actually thinking that the IS-8 should go out into the field and get a side shot in. This guy is playing a little bit dangerous here, especially by running over that tree. More likely than not, this IS-8 is going to find the T-110E5 first. I'm going to keep my eyes out over here for any trees, just in case. You'll be surprised at how many people knock over trees when they're driving. But if you're in a close match, it does help kind of watching your own tank, and especially if nobody's able to kind of see where your tank is, just in case if somebody knocks over a tree or a bench or whatever. Me personally, if I was the E5, I would have won out into the field into the 7 line and just wrapped behind the T-95. But nope, he's right there. Let's get on the cap. He doesn't see you yet, dude. Don't get too close. But hopefully he doesn't spam heat right through the T-95, but it doesn't seem like he is. Nice. This is good teamwork here. Just don't do it. Don't do it. What the fuck, dude? You just gave him that shot. Oh god. Had he just stayed there and not put his rear armor out, he would have been fine. The T-110E5 would have rounded that corner, and the IS-8 would have been able to shoot him. Come on, do it, do it. But fortunately for us, this E5 doesn't seem to be using premium rounds, but still, he's probably gonna end up resetting him. He just needs to hit that top hatch. I don't know if he's throwing HE at him, but it doesn't look like it. Nice. But yeah, if that T-110E5 had some heat rounds, he would have been able to take that T-95 out pretty easily. So overall, not a bad match. I did make a mistake. I should have kind of told the IS-8 to push with me on the bat chat, but worked out in the end. As you see, 1,875 damage, 2 destroyed tanks, good amount of XP because I was against tier 10 tanks, and didn't really block anything again. Now, IS-3, as you kind of see, yeah, these matches aren't anything spectacular. However, I included them and didn't really want to patch together a bunch of excellent games in IS-3, because while this tank can do a ton of damage, if your armor works out, you're the top tier, you don't really get shot, a lot of matches like this, you do well, as you get your damage, you do a decent amount, and you help your team, but you just have to keep in mind that while your frontal armor is okay, your main weak spot is pretty big, and unfortunately, if people auto aim at you, or if they know your weak spot, it's very easy to hit, because if they do auto aim, that's pretty much almost center mass. So at the same time, you have to kind of balance it out. This tank, very good firepower and mobility. Just the armor, it's kind of tricky to use at times because it's more situated as a lightly armored heavy tank. Now just going over tanks leading up to it real quick. Let's hop into the tech tree here. As you see the IS-3, you get to it by the IS KV-85, and as you see you have to go from the KV-1S then KV-1. Now you can head to it in two different ways essentially. However, my favorite way is to go the traditional heavy line, because the KV-1, KV-1S, KV-85 are all very good tanks, and the IS, while some people don't exactly like it, I like the IS myself when I went through it a long time ago. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my website, wotguru.com.